Raising teenagers is hard. Understatement of the century. This is Mentor Select. Mentor Select. Parenting teens to be successful adults. Mentor Select serves parents who are raising teens. Every week, Derek interviews leading experts that work with teens, educators, counselors, mentors, and authors to give you practical tips, strategies, and resources that you can incorporate immediately to better connect and understand your teen. All while parenting them to be successful adults, focusing on social and emotional development, something that's left out of the classroom, but not in ours. Be sure to subscribe, share, and rate. This is Mentor Select, and this is your host, Derek Phillips.
Welcome to episode 79 of the Mentor Select podcast. I am thrilled that you are joining us this week. Parents, today you are in for a real treat. We have Ann Pugh, known as the NFL mom and the founder and president of the 50-Yard Line Mom. Welcome, Joanne.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm pretty good. I can't complain. I get to interview you, so life is good.
Great. Well, thank you.
So the NFL mom, how'd you get that name? I like it.
Yeah, NFL mom? Well, that's who I am because my son played in the NFL. So I am the mother of a former NFL player.
Okay. So is that what encouraged you to found the 50-Yard Line Mom?
Absolutely. You know, I can tell you that on the day that my son got drafted, there was something that just laid on my heart. I don't know about all, but many of parents of athletes have heard or read or witnessed the difficulties that a lot of athletes experience during their career and, more importantly, following their career. And one of the things that I was determined to not allow, if I had any power to do so, was to have my son be one of those statistics. So on the day that he was drafted, the 50-Yard Line Mom, the goal was to make sure that there was an opportunity for those parents of athletes, no matter what level of their sports journey, would have a resource and have information to be able to navigate their way through this. It's pretty much a maze in terms of the sports journey.
All right. So for those moms out there listening who kids are at the high school level and have aspirations of being professional athletes or at least playing in college, what are some things they should start preparing them for now?
Well, I think there's a couple of opportunities here. Not only preparing your child athlete, but preparing yourself. Preparing yourself with as much information and education on the path, the journey, because there's so much out there in terms of distractions, not only for that child athlete, but also for the parent. But if we want to just focus on that child athlete, I would say the thing that is most important is to keep them focused. Keep them focused and keep them grounded. And
what are some ways you're able to keep your son grounded?
I was the mom first.
Okay.
Mom first, fan second. And one of the things that both my husband and I shared with my son is you have a wonderful opportunity and you have a wonderful, wonderful gift. Many do. So in order to really compete and be extraordinary, you've got to put in extraordinary work. And not only on the field, but also in terms of your academics and in terms of character building. Because again, I say there's so many opportunities for those with unique abilities and exceptional abilities, whether it's athletics or what have you, to get distracted.
Right.
So the main thing is to keep them focused, keep them grounded. And I would always tell my son, look, you may be the athlete, a very good one, when you're on the football field. But when you're at home, you're the son, you take out the garbage, you make the bed, you do all of those things that a son should do. But keep them grounded and keep them focused.
So it sounds like you and your husband were the head coaches at home.
Absolutely. Head coach, athletic director, the whole gamut, yes.
We said a lot of great things I want to just kind of elaborate more on. But at first, I love that you mentioned, mom first, fan second. How important is it for parents to be fans of their kids, whether they're athletes or not?
Oh, I think it's extremely important. I define a fan as one that encourages, not just one that cheers for things that go real well when they're doing extremely well in whatever they're pursuing, but to really support them, because there's going to be adversity. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Right.
So being able to truly keep them focused, truly support them, give them accolades, and also, as tough as it may be, to tell them when they might need to consider another opportunity. I think that's the greatest challenge for parents. You want to be supportive, you want to encourage, but I think there's a balance of encouraging and some reality. That's tough.
Yeah, I can imagine. So just so the listeners know, what is your son's name and how long did he play in the NFL?
Yes, his name is Jordan Pugh, and he played in the NFL for 5 years. He was drafted by the Carolina Panthers and then went on to play with the Washington Redskins and ended his career with the New Orleans Saints.
Awesome. So we can get a little insight on that. Tell us what that day was like when he got drafted. Imagine.
Oh, my. Let me tell you. It's so funny because it's a buildup of many, many years of hard work. And in order to have that type of accomplishment, you have to work extremely hard. We didn't do the physical labor getting him to the NFL. That was him. But the emotional, that's a family and a son journey. Watching all of the successes from the time that he was in high school, actually even prior to that, most kids that really have the opportunity to take it to the next level start very early. It's recognizing that they have a unique gift or they have sincere desire, probably at that middle school level.
Okay.
And then watching them progress from middle school to high school and to college. But back to your question, what was that day like? I will tell you that we knew that our son was probably not going to be a first or second round draft pick.
Okay.
But we were told that he had great opportunities to go in that third or fourth round. So this was May of 2010. That was his draft year. At that time, the draft started, I believe, on Thursday night. It was Thursday night, Friday night, and then Saturday afternoon until around noon or 1 o'clock was when the draft ended. So on Thursday night, we start having friends and family coming over, and we're beginning to watch the draft. Again, recognizing that he's probably not going to go the first night.
Right.
On Friday, we have absolutely more anticipation. You have more family and friends that are over. You're watching the draft. Again, he's told that he'll probably go that third, fourth round, fifth at the latest, probably. And so we're okay until we get to the fourth round, and name after name after name is being called. And so you can start to see just the excitement still there, but kind of slowly dissipating a bit.
Right. It's so nerve-wracking.
Absolutely nerve-wracking. So day 2 goes by. That's Friday. He's not drafted. Saturday morning, we're all excited. Okay, you're going to be one of the first picks on Saturday morning. We just know it. Disappointed about Friday, but okay, your 5th round, 6th round, 7th round. So Saturday morning comes about, and probably around 11 o'clock in the afternoon, the beginning of the 6th round, Jordan had not been called. Mm-hmm. So we're all just extremely disappointed. We bring my son into our bedroom away from the crowd, and we sit him down, and you could just see the disappointment in his face. And he was just totally devastated. Said, "Mom, I know that I'm a better player than a lot of these guys." And name after name after name's being called, and we did not know what to say to him. It was probably the one time that, as a parent, you're just lost from words, and
right.
It made you feel as though, what can I do to help him? And we're struggling as well. But we are a family of faith. And one of the things we said is, we have no control over this. We can't do anything about it. We just suggest that you get away from your phone, because he was tied to the phone. Take your phone, leave it, give it to us. We want you to go down the street, find a quiet place, and all we can tell you to do, son, is to pray. So he listens to us. He leaves the house. He goes down the street, and my husband and I are looking at each other, and we're like, okay, did we just leave what we told him to do? He's got his phone here, and we told him to leave it. Yeah. So anyway, he goes down the street, and I kid you not, probably 2 minutes, 5 at the most, when he left, the phone rings, and It's Carolina Panthers on the phone. And, the general manager's on, Mrs. Pugh, this is general manager for Carolina Panthers, is Jordan there? And I'm like, yes, he's here. Well, we need to speak with him. We couldn't find him. We sent him down the street. We didn't know where he was.
Wow.
So anyway, we're running around trying to find and locate him, all the while the general manager for the Carolina Panthers on phone that, Mrs. Pugh, we only have 5 minutes on the clock. Where is Jordan? He's coming, he's coming, he's coming. And, he's coming. Come on, Jordan, come on. Still can't see him. So my husband jumps in his truck. He runs down the street. Long story short, he finds Jordan. He runs and brings Jordan up to the phone. Jordan grabs the phone, and you could just see, it was just like he was able to exhale.
Wow.
He took that call, and literally most of these kids, it's not so much about the round that they go in, although all want to go in the top round. It's having their name called. He went in the 6th round. And
about to say, their name call is like validating all of the hard work that they put into it.
Absolutely. The only disappointment we had, we were so busy running out trying to find him so he could answer the call.
Yes.
That on the broadcast, they put all of those players that are being drafted, they put the photo up and where they went to college. We missed it.
That is a great story, though. Yes, okay.
That was okay. That was okay. He got drafted. Yes.
That is an amazing story. And there's so many valuable lessons in that story. But the one I take away that's most important for me, and I think would be a lot of parents that they can apply to various situations, is with the disappointment. Like you mentioned, he was disappointed. You as parents were disappointed. You didn't know what to say in that moment, but you knew you had to say something. Right. And then you fell back on faith. When all else fails, you have to have faith.
Well, the other thing that I'll tell you is part of that on my son. My son, after he got the call, we all kind of settled down a bit. He said, Mom, you know what? He said, I went down, I sat on a bench, and I said, you know what, God, I'm done. He said, I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I've been a good student. I've never gotten in trouble. I've worked really, really hard. I just don't understand. I turn it all over to you now. And literally said by that time he heard his dad honking the horn, saying, come on, Carolina's on the phone. So it is about faith. It was for our family. And it carried him from the time he was 8 years old when he said he was going to be an NFL player to draft day and beyond.
Wow. That is awesome. Now, when he was 8 years old, did he already demonstrate just extraordinary ability at that point?
Well, he always played, in the little peewee type leagues. And everyone would say that he had a unique gift. And you hear that all the time. But when he was 8, we happened to be on vacation. He comes out of the water and he does a strongman pose.
Right.
And he says, Mom, I'm going to be an NFL player. And I looked at him, and he literally weighed about 50 pounds, and all I could say was, son, I'm going to pray for you. So to answer your question, and in the meantime, continue to work on your grades in school. So to answer your question, quite honestly, I did not really see it until he got into high school.
Okay.
I knew that he was good, but I didn't see that extraordinary ability until he had gotten into high school. And that was me as a mom. Others and my husband, absolutely recognized it because they understood the game.
Okay.
As a mom, I'm just is he hurt? As long as he's not hurt, I'm okay.
But as a mom, you still would continue to support that dream.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how important is it for parents to support their kids' dreams, regardless they see the potential or not?
I think it's vitally important. And particularly of the teen, it's such a fine area of development and parent relationship. They want that independence, and at times give you the impression that they don't care what you think and your opinion's not important. And then there's that time where they absolutely just crave that support and really, really need it. And again, I look at support in two ways: encouraging them not to give up on their dream, encouraging them to work very, very hard at it. But also, there were times when, my son would say, look, if you feel that you've been overlooked, again, that adversity coming into play, or you think that you're better than this particular athlete, then that just means you have to work that much harder.
Yeah.
So it was a balancing act of, instilling that reality. Life is not always fair. And you have to deal with the times when it's not.
Absolutely. So you mentioned earlier about the distractions. Most people understand as far as the athletes having the distractions. Can you talk some about the distractions that parents face along the journey? Living
through your athlete. And let me tell you what I mean by that. It's so interesting that when you have a child with a unique gift, whether that's academics, athletics, music, whatever it is,
right,
you start or can find yourself wrapping your identity around that child. And there were many times when I would be introduced or have conversation, and this is Jordan Pugh's mom. Not Joanne Pugh, but Jordan Pugh's mom. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then that becomes a distraction in terms of all of the other things that you have going on. So I think you have to be very, very careful with that. And the longer that they're active in whatever it is that they're pursuing, and the greater success that they have, I think you have more of an opportunity to lose yourself in that identity.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's a really good point. See that happening a lot with celebrities and athletes. Yeah, that's a good point. And certainly something that parents should look out for and be aware of. Like I say, it's a distraction. Speaking of that, what is your professional background?
Yes, I am a registered nurse by profession.
Okay.
And from nursing school, which was a great, great opportunity, I went into corporate America, into industry, healthcare industry, and worked for a number of major corporations in progressive leadership roles.
All right.
Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies. Always in healthcare, started out in the clinical setting and then moved into industry.
Okay, fantastic. So going back to something you mentioned earlier, area that's near and dear to my heart is character building. Yeah. Why is character building so important?
Well, I think it is the foundation of who you are and who you become. And one of the things that we stress from a very, very early age with our son and my daughter, I have a daughter who is younger than my son, but it's not about what you do on the field, it's about what you do off the field that will live with you long past the days that you've played a particular sport.
Right.
And there was nothing that made me more proud. It was wonderful for Jordan to have all the accolades around his successes on the field. But when a coach or a parent or someone I didn't know would come up to me and say, you know what, you have raised an absolutely outstanding young man. That meant more to me than anything.
Yeah.
And I think if I had to go a path of developing and building character versus a huge opportunity for my son to play professional sports, I'd go that character route any day.
Right.
Because the other is very short-lived.
Yeah. And a lot of athletes have learned that the hard way, and celebrities that, what matters first.
Yes.
What you do off the field, they can come back and bite you. If you have poor character, it's going to catch up with you.
Very much so.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
So what are some strategies that you took with your kids of building character and that you also educate parents on now as far as helping develop well-rounded athletes?
I use the term, just don't get too full of yourself. That's just it really is grounding them. One of the things that I think it's important to share with your child is that you may have an absolutely wonderful gift, but there's always someone that can run a little faster, can play a little bit better than you, but you can overcome that with character and with hard work.
Right.
So just really, and keeping them focused. That's the other thing. Oftentimes when you have a child that's gifted in a number of different areas, there could be a sense of wanting to do a number of things. And we always instilled, pick one, focus on that, and be the best that you can.
Okay.
At that focus, a sense of vision, a sense of purpose, sense of direction, the character building, I think are some of the keys.
Definitely.
And for us, it was grounding them. We're a family of faith, and it was grounding them in their faith.
Okay. Now, with the focus, did you ever have, did kids ever give resistance? Like, I want to do more than just one thing. How'd you handle that?
Not so much from my son, but from other coaches, because he was very good in baseball and basketball as well as football.
Okay.
So it was coaches that were coming and trying to pull him in different directions.
Gotcha.
So not so much a sense from him, because he knew that his passion was football.
Okay.
And that's what he wanted to do. And when he declared he was going to be an NFL player at 8 years old, he started working at it. He would do 200 push-ups a night. He would run to gain speed back and forth up and down our street. Not so much from him.
Okay. So as parents, you all had to tell the coaches like no, or how'd you handle it as far as the coaches? Because that's a good insight, because they have their own agenda as the coaches or whatever.
Absolutely.
So you have to protect their kids.
What we did was that we said, you can speak with Jordan about your desire to have him to play. It's really up to Jordan what he wants to play.
Okay.
All we did was said, you've got to get focused and focus on one. We didn't steer him in any particular direction or any particular sport. It was about what he wanted to do. But we instilled in him, once you make up your mind and you make a commitment, you have to hold fast to that commitment. And part of that is if a coach approaches you, no, I'm sorry, I'm dedicated to football. So.
Okay. Love it. Could you tell us more about your program, your organization, 50-Yard Line Mom?
Well, the 50-Yard Line Mom, again, is about, it's really dedicated to helping families of athletes that are pursuing that next level of sport. It's about educating them, being a support, and providing resources for them. So I do a couple of things. First of all, I'm very much into advocacy.
Okay.
And advocacy in the form of research on various topics around sports, being a medical professional, sports injuries, and relaying that information and providing that information to those parents that are seeking it. Very involved in speaking on behalf of young athletes, not only from a professional sports level, but throughout that whole journey, not only from a health perspective, but also the business side of sports. Right. And it is a business. And understanding, how do I help my son manage this, or daughter manage this wonderful and unique opportunity from a financial standpoint, from a physical standpoint, emotional and spiritual standpoint. So it's really about helping to develop the overall well-being and health of an athlete, no matter where they are in their sports journey.
Okay. Awesome. Now, you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, correct?
I am, yes.
If parents in the DFW area are interested in learning more about your program, what would be the best way?
The best way for them to contact me would be going to my website at www.50yardlinemom.com.
Okay.
And I do have an opportunity where that they can send me a quick note. Also, my email address is joanne.pugh, at 50yardlinemom.com, as well as LinkedIn and Facebook. So a number of opportunities to reach me.
Yeah, I'll be sure to include all the information in the show notes. Now, as we get ready to wrap up this interview, it's definitely a topic I want to make sure I don't miss. For the parents out there who maybe their teens or star athletes have great potential of going to the next level, but those student athletes have the mindset that, hey, I'm going to make it to the league, I'm going to be rich, I don't have to focus on academics. How do parents deal with that?
They attend one of the 50-yard line mom parent workshops.
ASAP.
As soon as possible, because I think that is such a misconception. What you see is the NBA draft, and you see the high profile, you see the NFL draft, and you see the red carpet. And what you hear in media, you hear about the $50 million contracts, the $100 million contracts. That is a small minority of the athletes. Just because you play in the NFL does not mean you are extremely wealthy. You have an absolutely wonderful opportunity in life, a great start. But the majority of athletes, they don't have a $100 million contract. I think the most important thing is to understand the finances. Is one of the things I've written a book, The 50-Yard Line Mom, One Mom's Journey Through the NFL and Beyond.
Okay.
I have a section in the book that talks and goes through an exercise of what that really looks like from a financial standpoint. And it's one of the things that I do in my workshop. I sit the parents down and let's just walk through the majority of athletes that go in, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round. They're not the first, second round, very, very high profile athletes.
Right.
What does that first year look like for them in terms of their finances? And we walk through housing, food, taxes. That's something you can sign a $20 million contract, but you don't bring home $20 million.
Right. Yeah.
Who do you need in that circle? How do you work with agents? How do you work with financial advisors and planners? Those type of things, because it's extremely important. And to understand that information prior to that son or daughter getting to that next level, the professional level, so that you can steer and guide them and educate them on being a good steward of the resources that they have, the financial resources.
Okay, great. So do you have any other resources that come to mind outside of, we mentioned your book, that's a great resource, your organization, a great resource, any other resources that comes to mind that parents of athletes would be useful for them?
I will tell you that there's one organization that I'm part of, and it is NFL Moms Association.
Okay.
Now, most of these mothers are NFL moms. That's the organization, but it's a really great opportunity to engage and get information from moms that have gone through different journeys, their son to the NFL. It's always good to go out on the NCAA website. I strongly recommend that and really understand some of the recruiting guidelines.
Okay.
How do you interact with scouts and coaches that are recruiting and schools that are recruiting? What should you do? What should you not do? That's an excellent opportunity. I would also say that if you can get in a good network of booster clubs that can provide some support and absolutely utilize your high school coaching staff. They have great resources as well.
All right. Great list. Fantastic. Now, as a kind of an extra added bonus, like to wrap up every show, what are some things that you see parents doing that actually hinder their student athletes' progress or to making it to that next level?
I would say get caught up in the hype.
Okay.
Yes, get caught up in the hype. And what I mean by that is if you see your son behaving in a manner that's not team-focused, that's more self-focused, I feel it's a time to address it. And many parents, when you get that superstar athlete, sometimes things go by the wayside or they become more of an advocate for that type of behavior.
Okay.
So I would say, yes, I would say be very, very guarded and careful about that because it only accelerates the higher that they go. And as quickly as your son may be elevated and things are going well, it can turn on a dime.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I say don't get caught up in the hype. Enjoy it. Enjoy the opportunity. Enjoy the journey, the experience. But know that everything has a term limit. And there will be a point where there's a transition to take place, whether that's transition from college ball to the workforce, whether it's transition from the NFL to the workforce. It's
Right,
finite.
it's finite,
yes.
yeah.
It's finite, yes.
Yeah, that's a great tip. And it goes back to what you're saying as far as raising kids to be well-rounded, and then it better prepares them for that transition instead of being one-dimensional where they're putting all their eggs in one basket.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Joanne, wow, this is certainly a value-packed interview. I know parents got a lot from this. And hopefully they incorporate some of these things and get the experience the anxiety that you all felt doing draft day.
Without the stress.
Without the stress. Thank you so much, Joanne. We really enjoyed this.
Well, thank you. It was my pleasure. I enjoyed it as well. And wishing all of the parents out there much, much success with your young athlete. And any of your other children that are pursuing exceptional opportunities and career paths.
Exactly, because all of the strategies, just guidelines apply to all areas of life, no matter what.
Absolutely.
Academic, sports, it's universal. Yes. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
That was a terrific interview with the NFL mom, Ann Pugh. She gave so many practical strategies and tips that you can incorporate today in order to help prepare your teen to be a successful adult, really focusing on if your teen is a gifted athlete. I want to highlight some of the key takeaways. One thing, parents, that Joanne cautioned you be on the lookout for is losing your identity as a parent in your gifted athlete. And be on the lookout for any red flags of your gifted athlete buying into the hype, getting a big head, and shifting the focus from what's best for the team to their personal best interests. Lastly, Joanne mentioned the importance of focus. So if your gifted athlete has desires of playing at that next level and ultimately the professional level, then it's extremely important that they focus on that sport and devote everything they have to that one sport, not getting distracted by playing multiple sports or doing just multiple things that's distracting them from that one thing. And as we know, coaches of other sports teams, they try to lure them in because they have their own agenda. But you want to really encourage your star athlete to focus and commit everything they have to achieving their goals of playing at the next level and ultimately professionally. Well, that's all I have for you this week. Make sure that you reach out to Ann Pugh and let her know what resonated with you about this interview. Also, check out her website and look into some of the workshops that she offers parents. Until next week, remember, it takes a village to raise a teen.
You've been listening to Mentor Select. Mentor Select. Parenting teens to be successful adults. Hosted by Darrich Phillips. Raising teenagers is hard. Understatement of the century. We get it. That's why Darrich interviews leading experts that work with teens, educators, counselors, mentors, and authors to give you practical tips, strategies, and resources that you can incorporate immediately to better connect and understand your teen. That's why we do the show. Be sure to share Mentor Select with other parents of teens. Follow us on social media at Mentor Select to stay up to date on the latest tips, strategies, and resources for parenting teens. Send your questions and comments to darrich@mentorselect.com. Tune in every Wednesday for new episodes. Till next time, this is Mentor Select.